Yeah, hey Joe, thanks. This is Roland. I am in Studio B where live sessions are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. And Willie Mason is here. Hey, Willie.
Hey,
You're looking good, man.
why, thanks.
Yeah, where'd you drive in from today?
I woke up in Asheville this morning
Uh-huh.
and made the drive. It's nice,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah. It's pretty out there.
picturesque. Yeah.
Exactly. You had a show last night?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was doing the last show I did on this tour. I'm touring with Laura Marley.
Right.
The last stop was somewhere, day before yesterday. And then after somewhere, I stopped in Knoxville yesterday for a radio show.
Okay.
And then since I was coming out here, I figured I'd just make it to Asheville.
And you've got it easy today because you just drive back to Asheville and get ready for a show tonight, right? So
Yeah.
It's an easy day. Tonight with Laura Marley again at the Dinah Wortham Theater.
That's right.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
And you're out touring solo. You like it that way?
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, it's good. I was out with a band about 3 months ago, and they all quit.
They did. They want to get paid, you know? It's always.
Yeah, that was the way. I thought we talked about that before. I guess not.
Do you become, like, as a performer, as an entertainer, do you become a different person when you have a band or not? Like, you go on stage, are the songs different? Or are you different? Or you just go out there and sing your songs?
It does change. The show's different. Yeah, it's a different kind of a show. It took me a long time to learn how to start to learn how to use a band. You know, to get the most out of it. You know, you can sort of emphasize different things. You know, when you're solo, there's a lot of subtlety in the lyrics and so forth. And band is more about having fun, I think, dancing.
So this is the no fun tour right now.
Exactly.
This is the somber.
Serious business.
Willie Mason has a new CD called Carry On. We've been playing it. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So is there a theme on this record? Do we just tap into, like, is it a concept record or anything?
Well, I mean, I guess any record sort of ends up being a concept of what's going on at the time. I think this record, maybe even the whole record, could sort of be an answer to that first song I played.
Yeah.
Show Me the Way to Go Home. It definitely has got a lot of thoughts about figuring out some kind of sense of belonging, purpose. You know, the simple things.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about, like, home and travel, I mean, almost immediately those become metaphors for, the human condition. I mean, it's huge, right?
Sure. Yeah, there's all kinds of travel. Interstellar.
Yeah.
Metaphysical.
Because you're a musician, you're out on the road all the time, and I know you tour a lot. I mean, that's just sort of your world anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I mean, I couldn't wait to hit the road when I started touring at 17. I just want to see everything in the world, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just there's a lot to it. Constantly moving in some ways is like standing completely still. If you're going fast enough, there's no contact or context with the surroundings. So that's been an interesting thing to get used to, and find an equilibrium within movement, and then just and going back and forth between that and then being home, which I did. I took maybe 3 years off between the last record and this record, where I just hardly left the town that I grew up in at all. Just for a change, I wanted to experience the things that you only get when you're sort of collaborating with a group, with a community, a town, through the passage of time. There's interactions and things that happen that I think can only happen in groups of people.
I remember, I don't know if you know Elin Jewell, but one of our favorite songwriters. But I remember her saying, like, so many songs about, like, being on the road and traveling, and it becomes a cliche. But if you're a songwriter, like, you live that life.
Yeah.
And sort of there's this, because you don't know what else to write about. So.
Yeah, well, there is that too. Yeah, it's hard. You kind of you can only write so many, like, driving down the highway songs.
Yeah. So you took, what, like 5 years between records? during that time, is this 5 years worth of material on the new CD, or?
I mean, these songs do reflect the entire spread. I was writing the whole time that I was at home,
Yeah.
and there's songs on the album from that whole time. And I did spend, I was kind of ready to make the record after 3 years, but it took. I by that time, I didn't really know how to go about making a record anymore. So I just started over again. I managed to get myself on a tour as a support act with the Felice Brothers.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And just kind of went from there. Did a couple of tours. Finally met a producer who was willing to sort of loan me some studio time, and then it was great. And the record turned out amazingly satisfying for me. With that producer Dan Carey,
Right.
who's sort of a wizard over in London.
So, I've heard people say before, like the first record is like the best record because you've got all these ideas you've been building up your whole life, But in a way, did you get to sort of like make a first record again? Is it with that?
I guess it did feel that way, kind of. Yeah, it was that same sort of anticipation and having no idea how anything was gonna go. I felt like I was starting over, and it was exhilarating the way that the first album was.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Scary too.
Yeah, yeah. How long in the studio was?
About 2 weeks, all told,
Right.
in 2 different sessions.
Yeah. So when you finally get it and you listen to it, do you go, "Oh yeah," or do you go, "Man, I should have done this, that, and the other," or do you even listen to it?
I kind of put it on, and then I go, "Oh yeah, that's good," and then I turn it off. I don't listen to it through that often. Once in a while, somebody will put it on, and I'll just sort of process it and reflect on it. And at this point, I'm starting to think about the next record, so
Are you really?
I'll start to look at it a bit more critically and think like, what could I do better?
So I was joking with you, I think, before we went on the air, but you take a lot of time between records. Or you
Yeah, I
That's-
have.
You're
I
thinking about
have.
your next record in another 5 years.
Well, I figure if I warm up slowly, I'll last longer. Yeah, exactly.
It's Willie Mason playing live today here in Studio B. I love your guitar playing.
Oh, thanks.
It's more than just the strumming, huh?
Yeah, I use these finger picks. My dad taught me how to do the Travis pick a long time ago.
Yeah. So you've been playing that way a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, it wasn't until somebody gave me my first set of finger picks that I started being able to use it for what I do.
Right.
Because I was never able to get enough volume with just the bare fingers.
Something like that. I mean, the guitar part's really huge. How big is the music as you're creating the song? Are you just like lyrics and the song comes, or did you have that kind of neat melody and chord progression?
Yeah, they kind of come together, especially on a song like that. They sort of influence each other, Yeah, often, either the melody will influence, the cadence of the words, or if I got a really clear idea of what I want to write about, then I'll just be thinking about that, and the music sort of tends to reflect it. Yeah.
Your singing style is really, I mean, it's unique and it's identifiable. How long did it take you to find that voice? Just that phrasing and that delivery.
Well, I didn't get really comfortable with singing until I got sort of towards the end of high school. I'd been in bands and everything, and I was just the de facto singer because nobody else even wanted to get near a microphone,
Right.
and I just filled in the space where it was necessary to allow us to keep doing what we love to do, which was to play really loud. And
Right.
once the band split up, and then I was kind of alone playing, and I started thinking about it a bit more seriously, and I had a tape recorder that my dad had given me because he's a songwriter, and
Right.
he's always got a tape recorder within 3 feet of him. So he gave me one, and I started recording myself and listening to the noise that was coming out of my mouth. I started thinking about it, and it didn't sound anything like the way I speak, and it didn't sound very nice particularly. So I thought, if I'm not going to be a great singer, I could at least be a singer that has a natural voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, like, my favorite singers are easy to listen to because you don't feel like they're putting anything on. You know, at least I think it's comfortable to hear. So even if they're not right on pitch.
Right.
If they're comfortable singing it, it works somehow. So I was working at the time, and I would just, on the way to and from work, I would say a line, and then I would sing a line, and I go back and forth and try to make the two have the same cadence to them.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it made a big difference. Pretty soon after that, you know, I started playing on my own, and my voice carried me at least. And now finally I got in the studio with a really good producer who knows how to use reverb and compression, and suddenly people compliment my voice, which is nice.
I read somewhere that you listen to a lot of hip hop and you'd taken sort of that approach to more of the spoken word thing.
I did learn a lot, as well. Just the melodies that can take place within speaking,
Right.
And cadence, and all of it, you know. All that I've learned has just served to free me up to do more, to just, you know, make it easier and take away rules and faux pas.
Do you like, I mean, there's always, you said something about being afraid of the microphone when you're in high school or something, but tonight you go up on the stage at Dynaworth Theater, being all these people there. Does that freak you out? Are you comfortable? Do you like it? Is it?
At this point, it's like I've been on tour for 3 months straight now. Before that, I was only home for a week. So it's kind of like after every night, it's sort of like you live show to show.
Yeah.
And it's almost like another side of myself that sort of wakes up once I get on stage. And at this point, I've played so many shows that I'm, you know, so much has gone wrong, and I'm still here. So
no pressure anymore.
It takes some of the unknowns out. Of course, there's always something else.
Yeah, you
I'm
will
sort of
regret
testing
those words
fate right now. Yeah, well, I want to see what else could come.
All right, the next experiment is tonight, right? The Dynaworth Theater. You're opening for Laura Marley. What time does that show start? I don't have it written down.
Good question.
No, 'cause someone
Probably
knows.
8 or so.
8-ish, something like that. What's it been like touring with Laura Marley?
Great. Yeah, this is our second tour together.
Uh-huh.
And she's a joy to travel with. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you learn something like watching, listening, just soaking up her thing? Does that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's an amazing guitar player, for one thing. And I've been watching her, trying to figure out how she does that so well. And you know, and then there's all the, you know, the logistical stuff. Like, she's kind of doing the same thing as me. She's out here on her own, finding her way. So there's all these little tricks as far as like figuring out where you're going to stay and highways and rest. You know, it's kind of fun to compare notes. You know,
the dirty underbelly of being a rock star, right?
Sure. Shop talk.
Yeah. 8 o'clock, says Dennis.
Thanks.
Starting to them. And you've also been out touring with Mumford & Sons.
Yeah.
For a lot, right? All summer long?
Well, we did a month or a little over, like 4 or 5 weeks this summer. And we did another tour in Australia before that.
It's like, I mean, they're the superstar. And that's got to be bringing you out to new people and a different kind of audience. And
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. And it's a big production. It's a whole nother thing. I still get people coming up to me. You know, oh, I saw you at the Gentlemen of the Road show, and we drove out from wherever, you know, which is great. Especially because you kind of feel like when there's that many people out there, it's really hard to imagine having an impact on any one person. You just sort of, I mean, I felt like our job, there was, you know, 7 bands on the bill each night. It was sort of a 2-day festival. So I just, you know, I felt like my job was to keep the show going. Whatever, you know, to not throw a wrench in the works.
Did you throw any wrenches?
Yeah, you mentioned that, actually. We're driving I'm driving like a short school bus. It's got a diesel engine, and the turbocharger got clogged up with a insufficient patch somebody had made on intake, and we were trying to get to Troy, or maybe 50 downhill. 100 degrees out. No, it was Guthrie, actually. It was 100 degrees, no air conditioning, the band's in there. And we finally made it 5 minutes before showtime. We were the first band starting the festival off, you know. and all these people are standing out there in 100-degree heat in like a desert. I mean, it was like the baseball field, just sandy, hot. So we all had a plan. When we pulled up, we pulled right up to the stage. Everybody rolled out of the bus and grabbed their instruments and stuff, and we managed to we were playing at 5 past.
Wow.
So that was as close as we got.
Yeah, that's professional, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that felt good.
Did you fix the car later, the carburetor?
We did, yeah. It took us a couple shows till we had time to stop and see a diesel mechanic.
Right.
I think we were in Florida by the time we got it fixed. Yeah.
Oh. We're gonna get another song for you. I wanted to mention because it's just interesting. You're directly related to William James, the great American philosopher, and of course his brother Henry James, the great American novelist.
Yeah.
Is that cool? Is that like a hallowed thing in your family, and you talk about the James brothers, or?
It's kind of one of those things. I think that actually, right up until my mother, there's like, I think it was hard, actually, for the descendants.
Sure.
Just because of this reputation that he has,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't be writing weak song lyrics.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's that kind of thing. I mean, to me, it's far enough removed, and even in the culture, that I don't react to it that way. To me, it's a cool thing, and it's also, just led me to looking into some of William James's writing and thinking, which fascinates me and is kind of in tune with a lot of my thinking, which is exciting,
Yeah.
And I recently have been getting into a book about that time called The Metaphysicians Club, and the descriptions of him as kind of this. He's a bit of a character.
Sure.
It's cool to listen to.
Yeah, and one of the towering intellects in American history. I mean, what about Henry James?
He had some good ideas.
Do you read Henry James any? Does that? Do you go that way?
Yeah, I did in high school. Some I went through a phase and got into it, and it was, I mean, I do really like the way that he writes. It's very dense.
Yes.
I found that my way of writing it was I'd sort of like read, I wouldn't stop to try to figure everything out.
Right.
I sort of speed read through it and then get to the end of a page and think like, what did I manage to get out of that? But I think he, just he brought some new techniques to the world of novel writing, I think.
Yeah.
And his books still hold up today, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. If you want to learn more about Willy, the website is willymasonmusic.com. Is that right?
That sounds right.
That's what it says on your CD. We'll go with that.
Sure.
And John Watson's here from Watson Video Production, so hopefully we'll get a video up of the session about the next week or so, something like that, if you're out there listening. Because Willy looks good today, man. You travel like that?
Sometimes.
Yeah, looking sharp, buddy.
This is my work outfit.
Yeah, I mean, my work outfit. So.
We're working.
There you go. Hey, you know what? It's pretty good, though, huh? Not bad work.
It's great.
Willy, thanks so much for coming by. It sounded great today.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and again, Dinah Wortham Theater tonight with Laura Marley. The new CD is called Carry On. I hope you can come by again next time you're in the area.
Hope so.
All right. Thanks, Willy.
Yep. Bye.
Live Studio B sessions on WNCW are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. From Willy Mason, we go to Charles Mingus.